All righty. Bienvenue, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are thrilled to kick off today's MHCP presentation on the power of generative AI and Horizon Worlds creation. My name is William Chandler, the MHCP Community and Operations Manager, and I am joined today by some incredible MetaMates responsible for what we'll be talking about on this very wonderful Monday.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Ryan. I'm the product manager working on GenAI creation tools in Horizon. Pleasure to be with you all. Abhi, off to you.
Thanks, Ryan. Excited to meet everyone today. This is Abhi. I'm Ryan's engineering counterpart, and we'll hand it over to Josh.
Hi there. I'm Josh. I'm an art lead. I've done a lot of the mesh gen work. So happy to see you guys soon.
From TypeScript generation to sound effects, ambient audio and skyboxes, with a hefty serving of mesh and texture generation, we're already serving up powerful new tools that will help you build richer, faster, and with more flair than ever before. Before we dig into this decadent spread, a few quick housekeeping notes. So, we have a few things that are out right now. If you check our Discord or the MHCP creator forums, you'll see that we have released a lot of this really great stuff to you all in the US, UK, and Canada, with more regions coming in the near future. If you have any questions during the session, as per the usual, please feel free to use the chat. We will be monitoring it and writing down all of your questions for the team. We will also be doing a live demo, and if there are any questions related to that live demo, we might skip the queue and go on ahead and answer them then. But yeah, we'll answer everything at the end with the live Q&A, and if there's anything that we're not able to answer during this call or we don't get to, don't worry, we've got track of all of the questions. We'll synthesize them down and send them out in a post later on this week. But without further ado, let's dive into the feast and explore how Gen AI is reshaping what's possible in Meta Horizon. Take it away, guys.
Thanks so much, William. It's a hard act to follow, but we hope the work will speak for itself, and eventually the creators and what you guys create as well. So we're gonna flip the script here a little bit and actually start with the questions that we have for all of you. So we're gonna play a video here that that shows off a world that we've made, and I'm curious to know if you were to kind of put yourself in the driver's seat for a second and to think through, okay, let me look at this world. Let me see, like, how long would it might take me or my team to make this type of world. If we can go ahead and play the video, I'd love to hear your answers come in. It's like a cozy little pirate cove here, and I'm watching the chat now just to see so if you guys want to think about that for a second and let us know like how long you guys think that might take. Nice. I love the emojis. Perfect. Okay. Very long time. A month, weeks, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 1,000 years. Okay. We can definitely get you some help. Maybe talk to one of the month people. All right. Perfect. So this world took one of our artists here, actually one of the people on our panel waving at us now, Josh, about 6 hours to make. Everything in here, all of the meshes and textures that you see were made using the GenAI tools that we're opening up for you all today. And that's why we are so excited. And so let me give you an overview. We're going to go through kind of a product overview, talk about the different features we have, why we're excited about them, get to Abhi to go through some technical stuff as well, and then on to Josh. So this is, if you haven't seen already, right, I want to at least orient you to where you can find the GenAI tools in the editor today. We have our persistent top toolbar there with GenAI. It's got the little nice GenAI sparkle you can click on. That'll open up then the GenAI chat panel, where you can see we have a bunch of different sort of generators or modalities that we offer today. That's where you'll be doing that's basically your chat window where you'll be prompting the different models for output. It ranges onto the sort of the next slide we can see there. I'll give you an overview of the features that we offer. We offer textured meshes, so that's coming live as of today. You've seen or have interacted with TypeScript already. We have sound effects for audio, ambient audio. You can retexture the meshes that you've made or that you've imported, and then also skyboxes as well, with more to come. We can talk about some of our roadmap or things like that in the Q&A portion as well. And really, we want GenAI tools to give creativity back to the creator, right? By accelerating your workflows, helping you find the fun faster, be able to take a concept that's in your mind, get it out into the world, get play testing much faster than you ever could have before, right? So whether it's just getting a static world, whether it's getting some gameplay mechanics, whether it's even just kind of playtesting the audio, whichever skill set you find yourself in, whatever area you want to focus on, we want to cover the gambit. We want to give you those options. And so we're excited to dive in. I won't keep you from the getting closer and closer to the live demo any longer than that. So Abhi, why don't you take it from here?
Just me, and then you get to the live demo. Thanks, Ryan. So a little bit more about each of our generators. So of course, textured meshes, that's launching today. And one lever we wanted you to be able to pull here is around the size of the mesh. So of course, your full world is going to be of the order of, around 200,000 words to be performant. And so we wanted you to have the flexibility to have a few high quality meshes or many kind of smaller objects. So you'll be able to choose the size of the mesh you're generating. And a little teaser, I know we're just launching Mesh Gen, but we are working behind the scenes, and over the next few months, we should expect additional features like generate from reference. We also really are trying to drive down the latency. So all of that is coming soon. Then we have our TypeScript generator. And what we've tried to do in Horizon is really create something that's got system awareness of Horizon. So it knows the APIs, it knows how to do stuff that's very Horizon specific, like gizmos, for instance. And then also, like, over time, we expect to teach our TypeScript generators about your world as well. So it has world context, and that's something you just can't get externally. So two generators. One is our generalist, that's designed more for like education or abstract ideation. Maybe you want to brainstorm a gameplay idea with our TypeScript generator. And the specialist is designed more for code generation. So yeah, that's TypeScript. Again, improvements coming for TypeScript. We should expect improvements in compilation rates and world awareness. Then we've got our audio generators, sound effects for objects in your scene. Ambient audio is really for ambiances of the order of a minute, and you should be able to adjust the duration for both sound effects and ambience. Again, little teaser, we're working on a new model that's going to have improved fidelity, accuracy, and more meaningful variation in the generations. That's also coming in the next couple of months. Then we've got TextureGen. So TextureGen is designed to work with both the meshes that you generate with our mesh generation, as well as existing meshes. And one kind of interesting thing is it's designed to be geometry aware, which means it should look consistent across viewpoints, and that'll reduce distortion effects. It should also have better color consistency, fewer artifacts like seam artifacts. And again, with textures, we're working on generate from reference, even prompt-based editing. So that's also coming soon. Excited for that. And then finally, skyboxes. So skyboxes, we have 6 different styles. So photorealistic, painting, open world, anime, comic, and no filter. And we also take care of like the radiance map and cube map generation. So you don't have to worry about like any of that. Just enter your prompt and you get a skybox. Again, with skyboxes, we are looking into generate from reference. So that should be coming soon. Yeah, with that, I'll hand it over to Josh, who's going to be doing a play-by-play of how you can actually use this stuff to create a world.
So what we'll start out with here is just a quick time-lapse video of me actually creating the world with the tool. So you can see here, I started with Meta AI as a reference point, because it's really helpful to have reference before you actually get to the final result. Because otherwise there are too many options, it's limitless. So Meta AI helps hone down my vision. And then you can see here I'm using the mesh generator on the side to start kind of building some landscape pieces that I want to use to try to rough out my world so I can get the scale, color, dimension more correct. I'm also putting in some landscape pieces into the background, some mountain stuff, so I can really get an idea of what the horizon's going to feel like. And at this point, I really liked the cave asset. You can see right there, the cave asset that I had working. That was actually a fairly key piece that I kind of built everything else around, because that actually helped me contextualize the scale and the size of everything I wanted to build. And then from there, it's just about filling in details. So adding all the Pirate Cove houses, all of the plants and tropical stuff that I want to put in there. It all came together fairly quickly, then doing some background assets. I added some static NPCs as well into the world to make it feel a bit more alive. Adding more polish. So I could spend more time on this and polish it some more, but I think to me, doing something like this in 6 hours really helps contextualize for me or anyone else who wants to work with me on the same world. It helps them kind of like see the concept all together. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and I can actually show you the world in Horizon as it is right now. All right, so here I am in the world. You can kind of see it's everything that you were seeing in the video there. I'm going to hit play so you can actually see me walk around in the world here. So as mentioned before, everything in this world is created with, or all the textured messages are created with MeshGen. So there's no assets that I brought in from a store or that I created myself. Everything was completely generated with MeshGen. And the same is true for things like the TypeScript or other kind of like pieces that I put in here as well. Because, for example, I added a little script that opens these gates for me, and there's a little helpful monkey here that helps me get in there. That's my NPC that I generated. So that I can kind of like get through the entire experience. It's a very simplistic little game experience, but that was mostly there just to kind of like test the different tools as they were available. So, so to show a little bit about how Mesh Generator works, let me just do a quick demo for you here. So you can kind of already see on the side, this morning I just generated some more palm trees, and I added them here to my inventory. I'll even drag one out. And then I will generate something live for you as well. So you can already see here, got myself a palm tree, and it's really fast to just kind of spin it around, add it where you want to, and then generate something else and pull it out and use it for whatever you want to, whatever you're looking to try to build. So one thing I might ask this mesh generator to do, as an example, one of the kind of like key things that helped build my level is you can see these rocky cliffs around the entire space, helping to kind of like keep the player's attention contained. I found that was actually pretty pivotal to making this space work. And MeshGen does a great job of like adding a lot of like really nice detail to all of the rock faces. But if I wanted to try to build this myself and build another space, I could ask for a few more cliffs to get me some more variety. So I'm gonna enter the prompt, simple cartoon, brown rocky cliffs, and hit enter. So this should take anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute for the first 4 untextured mesh thumbnails. So this is the fastest way we can try to get some options in front of you so you can kind of see what's coming up for you. So as Albie already mentioned before, there's a drop down here for you to be able to select between the small, medium, or large mesh. Basically what this does under the hood is it controls try count. It'll probably help control things like texture resolution and other stuff in the future. But for right now, this is just so we're giving you some basic controls to help control like what the try count is like as you're getting into it. All right, so it looks like we have some thumbnails just about ready to start here. They should be coming right up. One of the reasons I chose a simple cartoon in front of my prompt there is the world that I was trying to create kind of has a more simplistic, simple cartoon look. So if you look at the monkey over here that I generated, the pirate monkey, he's got a little bit more of that Pixar quality to it. So sometimes adding the type of style you're going for into your prompt will help you get the look you're going for faster. So I've already got some untextured thumbnail options here. So I can actually click like all 4 of them if I like the way that all 4 of these look. And I can just click the texture this model button. Basically, what this is going to do is this is going to ask MeshGen to start generating a texture for the mesh that you're seeing there. And while we're waiting for those results, we can always open it up to questions right now as well. So this process usually takes anywhere from like it could be as short as a minute, or sometimes it goes as long as like 2 minutes, depending on the complexity of the mesh.
So yeah, let's go on ahead and do a couple quick questions. I'll throw them out and we'll see who answers. So really quickly, how many tokens did Josh need for his creation? Josh, how many did you
Yes.
need for your creation?
Well, we're not really working in kind of like a token-based system. So the way that you can kind of think about it is, on average, there's going to be about 100 or a little over 100 perhaps textured results per day. So when I made this world, I think this entire world only took about 100 to about 112 before, because the results I got back I was mostly happy with, and like you can tell if I zoom out here a little bit that a few of the pieces I could just duplicate and move around the world to build the world fairly quickly, but I still have quite a bit of variety. So I really enjoyed this tropical plant I got, so I just duplicated it and moved it around the world to sort of fill it out fairly quickly. But I also had a variety of palm trees that I could also move around and place at different intervals as well. So to answer the question, it was about 100 to 112 for this world in particular.
So let's say that I'm a creator right now, and obviously I take longer than a day to build a world. And let's say I hit the cap at 100 for that day. Within 24 hours, I can come back and start generating more and add that to the world,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely. Yep. It's you can expect that daily you will have enough generations to try to fill out a world like this with almost no issue. We if like we'll be watching the data for players and creators as they're kind of like working with this tool, because we want your experience to be as optimal as possible.
Well,
So,
speaking of
oh.
optimal, almost like this was scripted, but it's not. I promise, it's not. He just said optimal, and we see that you guys have a lot of questions about optimization and lag and whatnot. What's that experience been like? You know, with all of these beautiful assets in here. What's the lag like? What's the optimization flow look like?
I mean, maybe it's a little hard to tell over screen share, but if I run around this world, I'm actually experiencing no or very little lag at all. And I actually do have one of these worlds live already on Horizon today. So if you look for, I think I called it like Pirate Bay, not realizing that it was that was a very old website back in the day. But if you look at it, you can actually join that world and you can run around it and you can interact with it. And basically there should be, I didn't notice any lag or slowdown in regards to performance that way. So for performance wise, you should be good to go in terms of like as you create stuff. But as Abhi already mentioned, if you are noticing that your try count is getting out of control, just try to make sure that you're using the control down here to try to optimize your meshes to be appropriate for the size of the asset that you're creating. One quick note is I just hit the save model button here, and you saw them got added to my GenAI assets folder. I was able to drag it out and plop it into the world, and now I can walk up to it, interact with it, move it where I need it to go. Light it the way that I'd like to light it as well, because obviously this is a little small for the type of asset it is. I'll probably make it a lot bigger and put it somewhere more appropriate in the level. But hopefully you guys get the idea. You can very quickly, within minutes, have a high quality asset that you can duplicate, move around the world, and use as you'd like to. And of course, you can add your own meshes and have them mixed together as well, because they'll be pretty friendly to work with other meshes as well.
It's actually a good segue as well, Josh, because these meshes you can also export and optimize even further if you are an advanced artist or someone who wants to use external tools like Maya or Blender or what have you, you're more than welcome to export and then re-import, do more fine-tuned optimizations there. Our goal in designing the feature was to make sure, like Josh said, that hey, out of the box it works. Like you can just start playing it and get it going. But of course, if you wanted to do some more fine-tuning, there's a number of questions we've had come in that kind of speak to that, and that's going to be true for a variety of the features that we have for textures as well, and is spiritually true for all of the features, and it's just a matter of time before all of those capabilities come online.
Yeah, we want to give you guys as much creative control as possible. So, for example, there's a little pirate flag up here. And obviously, like if you wanted to replace the logo on the right here and you wanted to remove that, you could easily grab that asset. And just like I'm showing here with the brown cliffs, you can download those textures. You can download the source FBX as well. And then you can import it and make any adjustments you want and re-import it. And that process hopefully should go nice and quickly for you.
Kind of piggybacking off of that really quickly, we've got time for 2 more live questions, then we're going to keep on moving. But do they export with the textures? I think you all already covered that, but let's drill it on home.
Yes. All the so textures and model are available for you to download. You can download them both or just one or either, depending on what you want to try to do.
Abhi, we haven't heard from you in a while. I'm going to throw one your way. Nice juicy meatball. Knock it out of the park, man. How are textures optimized using this flow? Like, how can we optimize this?
Yeah, I mean, in general, we are exporting the same size texture for each texture gen. And it's designed to fit within the world budget. So, generally for optimal worlds, we're talking about around 80 megapixels for the texture budget. And we're exporting of the order of, I believe, 2K by 2K textures. Yeah, so it should, again, I think Josh and Ryan have made this point. It should work within kind of the budget of your world. We've kind of designed with that in mind, and you can see here there's no real lag. If you are kind of getting into exceeding that budget, there are other techniques we can use to further optimize. Ryan mentioned DCC tools. We're also on the roadmap looking at potentially combining textures into a common map, and there are some techniques we're looking at.
So as Abhi mentioned, there are a lot of roadmap items that we're going to be doing to improve and add even more features, especially like advanced settings to Mesh Generator as well, because that's all planned. So yes, you'll have a lot of creative control over the texture size. But so far for me, creating this world, I had no texture memory issues at all that I ran into.
Awesome. Ryan, was there another one that you wanted to knock out now, or are we ready to keep on moving?
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of grab from the list here to help out a little bit. I see some questions coming in around access. And so we mentioned this kind of earlier, maybe briefly on the call, but right now, like today, these tools are now available in the US, UK, and Canada. They'll be rolling out like for full access over today and tomorrow as like all the regions come online. And then we are actively working to get these tools available into more and more regions. So I don't have specifics there right now, other than that is a goal that we have. And so we want to continue to expand it to everywhere that the editor is available, at least as much as we can. And so spiritually, that's the goal. We're also going to be monitoring, the limits that we have on how much you can generate. We're starting with about 100, I think it is, or so a day, which, given the time that it takes to generate, that's quite some time that you're going to be spending building. And so, but let us know, give us feedback, of course. Like, it's why we do these sessions. That's why we have these Q&A times and channels for feedback. So please let us know, of course, just as another plug, to give us feedback. We listen to it, we read it, and that really goes to helping to guide our roadmaps and what we want to build and what features are important to you as the creator who we want to empower. So please just continue to make use of those channels. Yeah, I don't know, Willie, maybe you want to queue up one if there's one that's been repeated a few times. We can kind of go on to the next.
Oh, yeah. All right. This one's a good one. Rigging. Probably one of the biggest pains that what any of us in game dev have ever dealt with. What's the word on rigging, good sir?
Awesome. Yeah. So this is kind of a tricky one, because what you're seeing here with like some of the mesh gen features that we've provided is this building on top of sort of capabilities like with mesh gen or mesh import that we have had in the tool, but now unlocking the ability to generate with rigging. Animation tools has been something that's been, being worked on, but not quite live, even from a non-Gen AI perspective. And so what we're doing is we're working closely with the animation team to give a roadmap of like when some of these other rigging tools might come online. So it's on our roadmap. It's something that we want to give. We don't have a timeline quite yet for you, other than just noting that like, hey, we hear you. This is a desired feature from all of us. So this monkey here, you can do monkey things, right? You can make it dance. You can make it be a pirate and chase you, whatever you want it to do, right? And so that's definitely something that we have in mind. There's another question kind of similar to this too around avatars. And so we do have some creative GenAI creation avatar tools coming online, or if not already released in some form as well. So I definitely encourage you to continue to check our Horizon Dev website for the list of kind of like release notes for the latest features there, and to encourage you to check out. As I mentioned too, I give you some insight into some more tools coming online later this half. I want to kind of stay true to that, and so we will be having. I think we even showed this off at GDC a little bit. LLM NPCs or AI-powered NPCs leveraging our Horizon avatars, and so that's going to be something super exciting for you to bring to your world, where you can make characters come to life, blending scripted dialogue as well as LLM-driven dialogue with backstories. We'll also be working on world layout generative tools so that you don't have to go with hours and hours to build a world, but you can go with single prompt to environments that are being made. So those are in development right now, and we'll also be super excited to bring to you guys.
For people who are desperate to get into characters right away, if you want to rig a character, you can actually ask for a T-pose. So even though they're static meshes right now, you can download the source and the textures of a T-posed character if you like the look of the character once you get the texture back, and you should be able to actually animate that and then or rig that yourself as well.
I get the feeling Jalitza is going to be very, very busy the next couple weeks with this stuff. So, from Kenneth Ramirez, did you use GenAI for TypeScript for this world? How accurate is it, and what are best practices for using GenAI for TypeScript?
So the short answer is yes, I did use GenAI TypeScript for this world. Specifically, what parts I used for it. I used GenAI TypeScript to handle, let me just actually show it, handle this coin spinning and bobbing up and down. Basically, I just asked it to be able to kind of like move like that. I also asked it to expose parameters so that I could actually affect how fast the rotation moved up and down. And I also used it, I believe, for the gates as well. So usually with GenAI TypeScript, if you know what you're looking for, like what you would like it to do, like just ask it and try it. And if it's not exactly what you want, you can also give it feedback. So like with TypeScript, I can ask rotating object. So you can use the @ symbol to reference a script directly of what you're wanting it to do. And once you have that little tag there, you can actually say things like expose the variable parameters. And then it will go through that process of doing that.
So this is an interesting one. I've not even thought about it. So it's a free-for-all, either one of you three. Can GenAI do water? Or let me make sure, water models. Can it generate water models?
I have some other versions of water. This water is fairly simple. Basically, I just generated like a water plane, or something that looked like a water plane, and then I just kind of duplicated it all over the place. And it does have some texture on there to kind of make it look a little bit like water. This is more meant for like a background piece rather than walk up to it kind of piece. In terms of, does it utilize specialized shaders for water? Not quite yet. That's still another piece that we would have to add in the future. But yes, water is on the mind to make sure that we're supporting with a good shader, but not as part of the mesh generator service at the moment.
I wanted to Circle back on actually one part of that compound question that we got on TypeScript. Something else that you can do is as you're generating it, it's GenAI. There's going to be times where it'll give you errors or things like this, but you're able to feed those errors back into the conversation and work with it to understand how to build your code, how to optimize it, and for it to even kind of fix the errors that you'll see as well. So I'd encourage you guys, as you play around with it, just work with it. Continue to learn the ways. Like prompt engineering is a skill, and it's something that it's when it will become another skill in your toolkit as you go and build to share with each other, share learnings. Like, hey, how have you been best? We'd love to start hearing from the community. Encourage you guys to use the forums, use the Discord channels to share your best practices, and share the assets, share the scripts and mechanics that you've made to really kind of help the community. And we'll be, of course, continuing to build more tutorials and demos and guidance for you guys as we learn as well, and how to best get the results that you want to get. And then also just to highlight too, there's a few questions in here around style and consistency and things like that. And so the model right now is not it's not using the contents of your world to produce the style. It's using these prompts. What we are looking to like the workflow that we want to unlock is back in the time-lapse video when you saw like the meta AI image that Josh created as a reference. We want to enable you to go from that kind of reference into the mesh itself without you having to do the manual translation to go describe that in text. So you can get multimodal input as another way, because it's hard. Like it's hard to use natural language all the time for every type of output. And what words does the model want me to say? And so we want to make that easier for you.
So regarding style too, in creating, I've created a number of these worlds now, like a 6-hour world. I've done that a few times. So style is definitely something that you want to consider. And to Ryan's point, make sure you have your reference really clear up front of what you're trying to build. So that way you're just kind of like shooting in the dark. A couple of the tricks that I use to try to help make style consistent is I use words like for example, if your world is more cartoony, I use words like simple cartoon up front to make sure that it's going to be within the genre that I'm actually going for. And then if there's a color inconsistency, I will call out the exact color that I'm looking for. So you can see here, I've used the word brown rocky cliffs, because if I just use simple cartoon rocky cliffs, I quite often got like gray rocky cliffs, which were the right style, but not the right, they didn't mesh with everything else. They didn't feel like they bled into everything else. So you can see that the mesh that I generated here already kind of blends fairly nicely with the rest of the rock face here. It doesn't feel like it's sticking out like a sore thumb. So you can use a lot of keywords there, and it doesn't have to be super complex keywords, just keywords enough to basically ask for what you're hoping to get to match the style in your scene. And we are thinking more about style in the future as well, and if we can add some more advanced settings to help control style.
So from Stephen S, is it, aka the texture generation, mobile aware? I'm not all that technically inclined. Anyone know what that means? Or Avi, you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason it shouldn't work on mobile. I think what it's getting at is just around the texture budget. And again, like it's kind of designed to be performant. And if it works for VR, it's going to work for mobile as well. So yeah, I think it still fits inside that recommended budget of 80 megapixels. And you're talking about 40 to 80 textures to meet that budget. Actually, while I do have the mic, William, I wanted to add a note on Josh and Ryan's comment around both style and how best to use TypeScript. So on the style side, one thing we are looking at behind the scenes is how can we automatically feed the model context around your world. So when you're generating TypeScript, for instance, it's not referencing something that's not in your world. And this is kind of an industry-wide problem around hallucinations, and we are looking at various techniques to kind of reduce the incidence of hallucinations. So, hopefully that'll only get better with time. And Ryan mentioned that you can feed the output of the model back to reduce, to get a new generation, maybe addressing issues with TypeScript. We've also looked at automating that cycle. So very soon, over the next month, you should see a model that basically will automatically, keep regenerating until you get working output. So yeah, just a couple of notes there.
We've gotten pinged on this question a few times. Wanted to quickly hit on it. What is the difference between download quest and download source?
That's actually a good question. I've always used download source. I believe Quest is a format that's optimized for VR. Abhi, do you know offhand? I can't remember because I haven't looked into it too deeply.
I will have to get back on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with download source just to begin with. And we can always, because it was mentioned that we can answer questions later in the week too. We can hunt that down for you, make sure you have a clear answer.
Awesome. Actually, Josh, we have a request from you from the group to generate a creepy wall for a hallway. If you have some ideas of prompts that you'd like to enter, that's also fair game. Don't feel like you can enter suggestions as well. I think that would be fun to see what it does.
Creepy wall for hallway. Let's see what comes up.
Yeah. Awesome. Actually, another some more questions here. Let's see. So there's some questions on lighting, and I thought this was a great one because this is definitely one that's coming up soon on our roadmap, which is like if you notice everything in here is coming like sort of pre-lit. We're going to be offering unlit options as well. So if you do want to do kind of all of your own lighting, that'll be an option that you guys can select from. And so that's going to be coming up sometime in the next like month or two, ideally. Because what's cool about the lit ones is that it already kind of looks like it has depth, like it's sort of ready to go. But if you actually want it to have a little bit more control over that, we want to offer that to you. And then with Skybox too, it supports a variety of styles in the dropdown. So like you see the size controls here from SGen and Skybox, you can preference it with like specific styles as well. So you don't have to do that like just via prompt.
Yeah, and regarding the lighting too, I would definitely advise using these static lights that are available to light your world because they will be able to give you that nice kind of like hotter side to your because if I up this by a lot, for example, it'll be able to get a bit more of like a specular look on things as well as having a bit more vertex shadow detail that shows up. Sometimes the dynamic lights are good for dynamic things like flashlights, but you definitely want to use your static lights for any of your world lighting. You can see here it's updating this vertex lighting over here, so it's a little bit brighter. So as we go into the world, it's a little bit more noticeable because this helps like guide players' eyes, as you can see that contrast between the light and the dark. And you won't get that as much with the dynamic lights. Just because they're more optimized to work in a animated fashion.
Can you show the wireframe view?
Sure can. It
Why
is
not?
right here. Oop.
Wow, isn't that so much? That's cool.
This meant a lot to Jules. Don't worry, William.
Yeah, so you can see there's depending on the object, depending on whether I chose medium or large, then you'll get different mesh densities depending on what you're going for. So some of these further back hills, I had a whole lot less density because of the line weight. So obviously looking at the whole scene is a little hard to tell. But if you go to your individual assets, you'll be able to kind of tell at a glance what those different meshes will look like. So I think like this is a good example of this was probably a larger mesh and using the large setting. This one was probably using the medium setting. So you can kind of see as you optimize your scenes, just make sure you're using the either medium, large, or small, depending on how you're wanting to budget your tries.
Let's say that I've got an asset that I've generated and it was using the iMesh or whatever. And I'm like, oh no, this is so perfect. This is so great. But now I want it in a lower mesh. How would you go about doing that? Or Would you have to regenerate the asset?
Yeah, so on the roadmap, we do have resizing of meshes planned. So that will be coming up. It's not available just yet. So if you do find that a mesh is too high density and you want to have a lower density one, you can either download it and reduce it yourself and bring it back in if you want to keep it exactly the same, or you can just ask for a new mesh, since obviously it doesn't take too long to see that result come back to you. You could always ask for a new one and just select a different size.
There's a lot of questions on like shaders, materials, transparents, glass, waters, things like that. Um, we don't have specific answers on like more of those on the roadmap quite yet, though they're definitely like on our wish list. So what I would recommend is like as those become like just impactful for you, continue to submit that feedback so that we can gather that and then continue to prioritize across other creation teams as well. Like our team is focused on like the Gen AI creation tools, but we gather all of your impact. And sometimes we need to go hit up like our one of our art teams or editor teams to say, hey, we're generating this stuff. We'd love to generate some water, but to get that we need water shaders and we need different materials supported. So can you guys help us out? And how does that fit on your roadmap? As you can imagine, it's like a bunch of teams that actually have to come together to get all this stuff working. But don't feel like you have to do that routing yourself. We'll help you out there. Yeah, so there's some questions there. Not at this point with some of those, but coming hopefully soon, and we're continuing to take that on. A lot of questions on optimization. Things that we're also investing in are like tiled textures, so that it's not always just a single tile per mesh, but that way you can have like a tiled texture for better for performance. Getting you guys being able to make more and more depth to your worlds while staying within budget is a top priority for us. And so that's an area that you're going to continue to see optimizations and investments in, as well as just like continue to improve the quality. Like this is going to be something that you'll just regularly see, and keep an eye out for release notes. And then something else that we're excited to do too is as new models become kind of available, that we're working on new versions of models that we build internally, become available and these updates come in, you're going to start seeing options in the chat panel to select like some of these new models that you like that maybe are in beta that you can start playing with. And so you won't be only limited to just what's currently finally live, but we need your feedback. Let us know for these beta, like these updates that are in beta. Hey, how did this do? Did this do better in certain use cases than others, and where can we improve? So that covers, I think, maybe like 5 or 6 kind of questions of that genre.
And I think it's completely fair to say that everything that you're seeing right now is out live right now. Right, Ryan?
Oh yeah. So we roll out to like a portion of users. We ramp that up, assuming there's no bugs or any like launch blockers, to like a larger proportion. So basically, by around tomorrow-ish, everyone should have full access. So over like today and tomorrow, like that'll become fully available. It is 100% available for anyone in the MHCP program as of right now, and so that you should be able to come in there and take advantage of that. That's one of the benefits of being in the program, is you get full access sooner in terms of rollout speed.
Can we talk about this publicly? This being all these tools.
Oh, absolutely. We want you to. Please go and talk and share. Be excited, by all means. Like this, we've previewed all of these at GDC publicly, a few weeks ago. This is our live launch. We are more than happy to have you share with your friends.
Can I export the mesh and still edit further into 3D software? I know we kind of already touched on this, just let's hit it one more time.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, just download the source, you can edit it, and you can import it. Basically, it'll come in as a new asset. Or you can just hit replace if you want to just full on replace the asset. It depends on like if you want to like keep the history of it or not. And basically you just be able to select your FBX and your texture file, import them, and it will just replace the file for you. And whatever references are in the scene will also have a chance to be updated as well after you've done that.
Yeah, and right now the tools are just available in the desktop editor. That's where most of the import, export, and some of these more advanced sort of art workflow features are. And so we don't have plans for this to come to the VR editing right now. But yeah, so just to answer that question, this is just the desktop editor at this time.
Okay, so Lyric Hell's saying their world or their gens are coming out clumpy, clunky, whatever. Um, that's generally speaking on the what do you call it? Prompt engineering? Is that what you call it, Ryan? Or Lyric Hell, you can share in the Discord some of the stuff that you're generating, and maybe we can look at it further, share your prompts, etc. But any advice there, Ryan or team?
Yeah, I mean, Josh, you might be the best to handle this. Like, I would imagine it relates to some of their size or how they're prompting, but
Yeah, so it kind of depends on what you're looking for. I would just be like, look at the untextured results you're getting. So you could already tell here, as I went through this process of looking for the creepy hallway. The creepy hallway. What was the original creepy wall for a hallway? There's a couple like keywords in there that I think it got a little tripped up on, because we were talking about a wall and a hallway. So the results I got back, I wasn't entirely happy with. I think this one turned out okay. I think the face there is pretty darn creepy, but so some of the results aren't exact because you can tell here with this one of these results, it's like the texture was the result more than the actual mesh was the result. So I tried a few other techniques, but I got down to asking it to initially do a stone wall, and then I call out more specifically what's creepy about it. So it has a creepy skull in it. So I really like what I see here with this result, and I'm probably going to get a much higher quality asset as a result of just being more specific with what exactly I'm looking for. You can tell here too, these results are a lot more interesting than the previous results. So this is part of the process, is kind of like becoming more specific with what you want based on the results that you're seeing. Because that way, you kind of like begin to see more ways that you can ask for things more quickly. So like for the simple cartoon brown rock cliffs, initially my first prompts were just rocky cliffs, or it was a mountain, and it wasn't quite getting the results I wanted. Because like if you can see over here, this mountain is just fine for like a background piece. And there's lots of quality to it. But if I get really close to it, it's a little bit mushy and a little bit kind of like soft around the edges. So maybe that's part of what you're seeing, is kind of like that softening happening. So what I did instead is I started to ask for parts. So I asked for, and I used the large size for this one. I asked for a simple cartoon brown rocky cliff with an open mouth cave, something like that. And that's where I got this asset after I kind of like worked away from my initial prompt of just a mountain. Because that way, if I get more specific, I can actually build stuff in parts, which is actually more handy for like me as an environment artist as anyways, because I can actually manipulate those pieces to build the type of silhouette that I'm looking for. And I can let the kind of more generic pieces be the silhouette pieces.
So, Josh, let's say we're building a house with GenAI. Would you say, like, hey, build me I don't know, a Victorian style mansion, home, and whatever? Or would you say, like, generate wall for wall, roof, the door, the windows, etc.?
Yes,
What's the play there?
that's a super good question. So these assets here, these pirate house assets, these are a single piece, right? So if you get a little closer to it, oops, if you get super close to it, it might fall apart a little bit, maybe less so on mobile, because mobile you have a much smaller screen space. Obviously the scale's incorrect, but I would generate these if I'm building my world as my background pieces. So that you could have stuff at the distance that looks correct and is a lower try count. And then when I have things I actually want to walk up to and touch or interact with. So for example, these walls, I know this isn't like a house, but it's the same idea. You build it in parts, right? So I have all these individual parts that I'm using to build a interactable, walk-upable space. So then I spend a bit more time on those pieces, whereas I found like 80% of my time was mostly spent building out the horizon and kind of like the space around me so that everything here felt contextually more sane. So for example, I wouldn't ask MeshGen to give me an arena with dirt and fences. I would instead ask for a fence. In this case, I asked a simple cartoon like cattle fence is I think what I asked for on this one. And then I just duped that as I would normally when just like bringing in my own assets to create the space according to the reference that I had. And then of course I had like this plain dirt as well. And I was able to kind of like build my arena here. So that's the kind of idea. Anything that you're walking up to or touching, I would probably build in parts if possible. Otherwise, all of the other big landscape pieces I would build, you could just ask for as one solid piece.
Sweet. Okay. Ryan, you got your hand up.
Yeah, just saw a question come in that I thought would be a great one to address around how what we're using to train our models on, and whether any of the contents of the worlds that users are making are being used. It's a great one, right? If you're making it, you want to be able to know, like, hey, like, is what I'm building being trained on? And so the way we train our models is we're using like we're going to companies that are producing meshes, or we're using our own tech art to produce reference content that we're explicitly asking for like rights and usage rights for their content for the purpose of training GenAI, that they get to participate with us in making these tools available to you all to empower your creation. So I wanted to make sure like that was just known, and so that way, we want to make sure like we're just very upfront and explicit about like when and how content is being used to train. And you're more than welcome to participate with us. And if you would like to contribute like training material that is like great quality, then we would love to work with you and talk with you about that if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, hopefully that helps to address that.
Fantastic, Ryan. And I know I've seen the copyright question come up a few times. We'll talk with our legal team and get back to you all sometime this week on that. Really quickly, we've got about 4 minutes left, just about, before we need to wind down. But I don't know, Ryan, Abe, Josh, do you all have any specific questions you wanted to answer that we've seen come in from the chat?
Maybe more of a question to the group, or a favor, a request to the group, is just like we've been kind of echoing like their like using use of it. But we'd love to learn about what kind of worlds like this, like what part of your workflow, as you get to test out the tools, this has become the most empowering to you. Does this help with the initial concepting or prototyping of your world? And that's kind of as far as you want to take it, and then you want to replace it with all of your own meshes. Does this help augment, like things you can't immediately find in the asset library? Are you able to use these in production? We'd love to hear from you where this can help unlock the most creativity and acceleration for you guys. So we would love just kind of to hear those anecdotes, and then also the gaps too. Like, we're excited for it, but we know like there's no future that's perfect, right? And so let us know the painful areas, right, and where we can invest in. So please be vocal, and we would love to hear from you.
I also wanted to flag that if you are a MHCP partner, in the Discord, we have a brand new channel that allows you to share out your prompts that you've made using the GenAI tools. Share your results, share your learnings, whatever, in that channel. And then feel free to use the GenAI questions channel to provide feedback on the product or the general chat, etc. And then lastly, if you're a creator and you're using the creator forums, please feel free to do the same. Share your GenAI experience, share your prompts. The more information we can share with the community, the better and cooler stuff that we can all create together. I just saw Elastic Plastic. They shared a prompt, and what the result was, that looks awesome. Albeit slightly haunting. Fantastic work, Elastic. What's the channel name for the partner channel? It is called, one moment, pulling it up. It is called the GenAI Prompt Engineering channel, with dashes, obviously, in between everything. But yep, that's it for us today. Anyone want to say any last words, Josh, Abe, Ryan, before we head off?
Hope you enjoyed the tool. We'll keep developing for it. Let us know your thoughts, what you want.
Thanks for being amazing partners.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, please have a tremendous rest of your Monday. Have a great week. And please do not stop sharing your prompts. Do not stop sharing your work. And we will see you in the very near future. Until next time, everybody, have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.